guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm so glad you're here today. As the title of this video suggests, we made a huge move this summer and moved from the United States to the Netherlands. Woohoo! So guys, I'm here to basically tell you 5 things you should know before moving to the Netherlands. I want this to be an informative video for people who are interested in moving to the Netherlands, and even for locals who live here who can help us, just kind of form a fun community. But anyways, let's get started. So the number 1 thing is finding a home. Oh my goodness, this was quite the feat. Now, we had started looking for a home about a month before we moved to the Netherlands, but we weren't very successful simply due to the fact that the housing market there's so much demand in the housing market, and anytime we found a place that we were interested in, by the time the agents got back in touch with us, the place was gone. So it was starting to get, at least I was starting to get a little discouraged. And so Randy said, maybe we should just kind of relax, and a week before we head out, we should start scheduling viewings. So that's what we did. Again, a lot of the agents want you to be in the country before they can schedule you for a viewing. And so we weren't very successful with that, but we waited until a week before we got here, and then we started scheduling our viewings. Now, we finally found an agent that got back in touch with us, and just so I can kind of backtrack a little bit, we Randy and I both work remotely, so we were very open as far as finding a place to stay. We didn't have to be in a particular area. We didn't have to be in North Holland or South Holland. All we know is that we wanted to be away from Amsterdam, and that is because we have a 7-year-old son, and we just wanted him to have space. And we knew that we wanted a garden, just space in general. So we had a real estate agent get back in touch with us, and she scheduled a viewing for the day after we arrived at the Netherlands. So we got here, we had booked a hotel stay for 2 weeks, somewhere close to Schiphol Airport, because we wanted to be able to use the train to get around. And we met up in the area that we met up the agent. We'd never heard of it before. It's called Dordrecht. So we took a train, and Dordrecht is in South Holland. It's the 5th largest city in the Netherlands. Again, we'd never heard of it before, but we met the agent, and she was so pleasant. We walked into the house, and let me just say, I was shocked. And this is just important to note, guys, when moving here, manage your expectations. Especially, I can speak to the US. If you're coming from the US, we're used to your big garden, your big rooms, just the space. It's not quite the same here. I mean, I'm sure there's places or areas that have that, but if you're looking to be closer to like a city, you're definitely, you have to manage expectations. You're definitely not gonna get that. So the first thing, we walked into this rental, and the steps were like this. And I was like, how is that humanly possible? But she told us that that's completely normal, that all the houses look like that. However, she was nice enough, so we were okay with the house. Like, we weren't blown away with it, but it wasn't horrible either. It was more of like on a busy street, but she was nice enough to let us know that there was another place in the same area in Dordrecht that was not in the market yet, but was about to be in the market on the next day. It had a garden, which we told her that we were looking for a garden. And so she said, I think you guys are gonna like this place. So we finally ended up going to look at the other place, and we absolutely just fell in love with this place. It was amazing. It had all the things that we were looking for. But again, the most important thing that I cannot stress enough is manage your expectations. If you're looking for, huge garden, huge rooms, huge this and that, that's definitely not what it is here. You come to find out that the small spaces are just enough, which we have found that out too. And also, something else that I would definitely suggest is that wait until you are almost here to start looking for a place, because realistically the demand is so high. You might see a place that you like, it'll be gone. Places rent out in as fast as a day as soon as they're listed. Okay, and so guys, we are gonna go to number 2, the weather. The weather here is absolutely unpredictable. Just to let you know, I planned on actually filming this outdoors. I went to the park, it was beautiful. What happened? It started raining. So the weather is extremely unpredictable. When we first landed here, we got here 3 months ago, and it was middle of summer. We walked out of Schiphol Airport and people had jackets and sweaters, and we were just shocked because in the United States, people don't wear jackets and sweaters in the summer. I mean, you can't. It's extremely hot. The weather is in the 80s, the 90s. Only when you're in a cold bus or train, public transport would you wear that, but otherwise, you put away your sweaters and jackets in the summertime. But here, the weather is, it's definitely not, it doesn't get as hot. We certainly had hot days, but it's definitely nowhere near the United States summer heat. Now, the next thing, guys, which everyone knows this, it's synonymous with the Netherlands, is getting around and bikes. That is number 3. Oh my gosh. So obviously, you know, I knew that that's, you know, the common way to get around here. And I have to say that I was, and I'm extremely nervous about riding bikes. But you have to get acclimated. You have to open your mind to it, because that's really the easiest way to get around here. You know, they have bike lanes galore. People, you know, kind of know the rules as far as, like, you know, riding bikes. It's not just helter-skelter crazy. You're not riding across along with traffic. So it's very safe actually. But for me, it's taken a lot of getting used to. I'm still getting used to it because I only just rode for pleasure. And that was, I can count on one hand how many times I rode a bike back in the US. And people will go for, the other day I went for shopping, and someone, for grocery shopping, and someone had his groceries on one hand and was holding the bike with just one hand and kind of just riding his bike. And I was like, oh boy, how is he doing that? Something else too, and this is so adorable, people will have their little kids at the front of the bike or the back of the bike. That's how we ride around with Cameron. He sits at the back of Randy's bike. I'm still not comfortable to have him sit on the back of my bike, so I don't do it yet, just because I'm still trying to learn how to balance. But open your mind to riding a bike. That is really the primary way of getting around. The other public transportation, as far as like the trains, are amazing, but that's if you're going from like one city to the next. Other than that, when you're just in your town, riding bikes is kind of the way to go. So learn how to ride a bike. And then the other thing, guys, which is huge, is how kid-friendly and as far as the education for children is when you're coming to the Netherlands. Now, this just blew us away. I had watched other people's videos who'd moved here and said how they're extremely kid-friendly, and how you'll see kids running around in the streets. I mean, not with traffic, but just kids just playing around, and that is completely true. They have a ton of parks. They have neighborhoods of little areas, or a neighborhood is a little area where Cameron can go and play with the neighborhood kids. So that has been amazing. And the most important thing that I would like to talk about is school. So obviously Cameron did not speak any Dutch, and we moved to, so we ended up getting the house, like I mentioned before, in Dordrecht. And so in our city, I don't know how it works for other cities in the Netherlands, but I can speak to Dordrecht. When you move here, the kids can only go to a particular school for a program that's called NT2, and that essentially is just Dutch as a second language. So the mistake that I had made before we got here is that I didn't realize, one, I didn't know what area we were going to be living in. But additionally, once we figured out that it was going to be Dordrecht, I started sending out emails to all these schools. Like easily, I sent emails to over 20 schools, just letting them know that, introducing myself, that we moved to the area and what all do I need to do to enroll my son. But what was tricky is that all the schools were out on summer break. And again, unlike the US, where even when schools are out on the summer break, there's always administration, so you can always get questions answered or just stuff like that. That's not the case here. They really value their time off. So I had to wait until I realized that towards the end of August, and I sent these emails out, I want to say it was July, end of July. It wasn't until the end of August that I started getting responses back. And when the responses started coming back, I was quickly made aware that my son could only go to one of the schools that in the area, that all kids who move to Dordrecht have to go to this particular school because they are the professionals in the NT2 program. He's going to be there for a year learning, just being heavily immersed into the Dutch language. And then once he finishes there, then he can move to a school that's closer to our area code. But I will tell you what, the school has been amazing. Just their system, and I'm not sure if this is all throughout the Netherlands, but in Dordrecht, the kids on Wednesdays only go to school for half day. They just value, just the kids' education, the parents spending time with their kids. It is amazing. Like, I cannot say enough things about how kid-friendly it is here. So if you're worried or have any doubts about it, I can tell you firsthand that it is an extremely kid-friendly country. And then my number 5th point is the Dutch people, and not to just generalize as a whole, but we have just come across so many amazing people. They're extremely friendly. Now, I would say that I was worried because obviously none of us speak Dutch. We are, we're in the process of learning, but we were worried, how would we get around? How would we make friends and just stuff like that? But oh my gosh, we have just met the most incredible people. Our neighbors have been so good to us. And funny story, just really amazing story. When we first moved here, we were still waiting for our stuff to arrive. And the one day someone came knocking on or rang the doorbell, and she introduced herself as our neighbor. And she said to me, I see that, you all don't have any furniture yet, and I have a couch that we really don't use, if you would like to use it until your furniture gets here. How amazing is that? Who does that? I mean, it's just amazing. The people have been so helpful to us. When we also just initially got here and we were trying to go to IND, which is the immigration, to get our resident permit cards, we completely got lost. We had no idea where we were going. And when you're new and you're frustrated, you're wondering if you made the right decision. And we walked up to someone and asked him, and he was like, come on, I'll walk you over. They're just so nice. And one of the things that I think is super amazing that does not happen in the US, that is just goes to show how amazing the people here are, is that when you have, again, I'm not sure if it's all cities, but this happens in Dordrecht, the packages. So if like UPS or any of the delivery services brings a package over and they go to someone's house and someone isn't home, they'll actually drop the package at your neighbor's house. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? That would never happen in the US, never. So the first time it happened, we were confused, like, wait, but that's not our package. But we quickly found out, our neighbor told us that they kind of just do that. So if you're not home, you don't have to worry about it. One of your neighbors will have your package. And later on, you can kind of just knock at their door and get your package from them. But guys, yeah, that was just a little tidbit of what we've experienced so far. We'll definitely be making more videos because everything is new to us. I feel like we're like, when giraffes are born and they're like still like falling down, trying to like figure out how to walk. I feel like that's us. Everything is extremely new. We're still figuring out everything, but we'll definitely plan on making more videos, getting around Dordrecht and just the Netherlands in general. But guys, please don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. If you're moving here or if you're locals, please just help me and help everyone else figure out, what things are like here. And yeah, share the video give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.